Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name is Jack, and today we're taking a look at not just all of the Darth Maul minifigs that have been made, but every single alien Zabrak that's been put into LEGO form. There's 11 minifigs in total, most of which are actually just Darth Maul, but we've also got his brother in there and a few Jedi. We're going to follow the release of all of these Darth Mauls chronologically. You'll get an idea of how the minifig artwork evolved over time, and I'll let you know what sets they're from and whether or not they're worth anything. I'm going to say right off the bat, most of these minifigs are actually worth a bit. Darth Mauls, and I guess all of these Zabraks, all seem to be pretty rare or high demand minifigs. So this first Darth Maul came out back in 1999, and he was released in 3 sets. Lightsaber Duel 7101, a Minifigure Set 3304, and Sith Infiltrator Set 7151. By all means, he is a very good looking first iteration. The robe printing is unique to this fig, and it shows that wider belt around his robes. He of course would come with a black cape and hood, like just about any Sith out there, and the printing on the face works really well. His eyes aren't yellow like the actual character, but the print itself looks very proportional. This minifig's gonna cost you at least $10, and it's interesting to point out that this is the first minifig to have a double-sided lightsaber. Now, it's pretty common for minifigs to not have new prints of them every single year, and sometimes there's a several-year gap, but this is the biggest gap I've seen between any 2 versions of a character, and the next minifig came out 11 years later in 2010. And after such a long wait between the first and second version of Maul, it pains me to say that LEGO did a worse job on this newer guy. The robe detailing for Maul is actually just Palpatine's detailing from the 2008 Death Star set, so it's not unique to Darth Maul, and it definitely doesn't show off his distinct robe style. Other than that, the only difference between this fig and the first one is the printing on his face, and the fine lines printed on the second version of this Maul I think were printed at a higher technical precision, but personally I just think the first version of Maul's face just looks better, even if the eyes are still white and not yellow. That's just my opinion on the matter. That point could definitely be argued, and this Darth Maul came out in a watch set, number 9001932. But let's jump up to the next year in 2011. We get this Maul, and he is from Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator Set number 7961. I think I'm comfortable saying this minifigure is definitively better than the others, and that's mostly because of this new Zabrak headpiece. He came with a hood as well in this set, but this Zabrak headpiece looks really good on the Maul fig, and he finally feels complete. Also, Maul has a new printing for the robes, and it shows his unique robe style. It doesn't need to be very intricate, and I think it works really well. And he is unique to just the Darth Maul Infiltrator set, so he comes out to a minimum of $18. But remember, I said we're including all of the Zabraks in this collection, and this minifig here is probably one of my favorite Sith minifigs out there. This is Savage Opress. He came out in the set Sith Night Speeder 7957, and this is the only minifig version of Darth Maul's brother. The printing for Savage's face and body both look really good with the yellow and black, and I especially like the printing on the face. This is one of the few cases where I prefer some of the printing from the animated TV series. It's somewhat a shame to cover up the printing on the torso piece with this armor, but Savage's armor piece is actually really good too. It's completely smooth and just has some gunmetal printing on it, and I for one am a fan of this style. You hardly see armor like this on any other minifig. Not only does he have a double-sided saber, but if you remember, Savage also wielded a gigantic axe. And that in itself is a pretty good testament as to how savage this guy was. He wielded both a double-sided lightsaber and a giant war axe. He's $15 brand new, and certainly one of my favorite minifigs from the Sith. But if you think that guy is fierce looking, let's just hop up one more year, and we've got by far the most menacing looking Maul yet. That's right, this is Santa Darth Maul. He came out in the advent calendar for this year, 9509, and he is a very aesthetically good looking minifig. The body is all red, and he's got printing to show off his distinct Maul robes, and he's even got printing on his back to show a hidden candy cane. His cape and hood are of course red to match. He's got his double-sided lightsaber, and this time he also comes with a snowball. A funny looking fig, obviously not the most fierce, but 2012 also gave us this guy, and he's looking a little bit more intimidating. He came out in both the San Diego Comic-Con Mini Infiltrator, and he was also a promo and a polybag for the New York Toy Fair. You can probably guess which version of him we got, and I've been waiting a while to open this polybag up for the VO, so let me build him right now and we can take a look. And here he is, a very good looking fig. The best part about him for sure is all the printing on his torso, and he's also got some really good prints on his arms. The jagged printing make for some great details all over the body, and he certainly seems a bit more fierce. And to go along with that, of course, is the unique printing for his face. He's got an open-mouthed grimace now, and he looks ready for battle. Brand new, this minifig is about $25, but if we jump up one more year, we get another guy, and he's actually got a lot of similarities. This is our Metal Legs Maul from 2013, and he came in the set Mandalorian Speeder 75022. This time his torso and arms are both red, and the red printing on the chest of the previous minifig is now no longer needed, and the negative space of that same print has been used for black. Plus they added a bunch of other stuff, including the metal around his shoulders. There's also printing that show where the metal legs attached to the torso, and there's even a little bit of underlying dark red muscle detailing. The metal legs are unique to this minifig, and it makes him a bit taller than an average fig. The printing for the face is also different, and I think this is the best version of Maul's face that we've gotten. Mostly because the face is a little bit wider now and it looks more proportional, but this is the only print where they managed to get his eyes right. You can see the white of his eyes, and the yellow iris with a red rim. No other Mauls ever made managed to get the printing quite as accurate. The cheapest new version of this fig that I've seen on BrickLink goes for a minimum of $21. And one more thing I like to point out about this guy that's different as well, is that he no longer has a double-sided saber, but instead a red saber, and the dark saber he got from Pre Vizsla after he killed him. Moving on to 2015, our final Maul came out in the latest version of the Sith Infiltrator Set number 75096. And the greatest thing here I think is the printing you get for his robes. It's still mostly gray on the torso piece, with only a couple of simple silver buttons, but the printing also goes down onto the front of the legs, and there's even some robe detailing on his back. So definitely the most complete looking body of Darth Maul, and he's also got an extremely creepy print for the face. It looks a bit like a red smiling skull if you ask me, but I think this works. He did have a pretty menacing evil looking smile from episode 1. The minimum price for this fig is $24 on BrickLink, which I think is pretty nuts considering you can still buy this set in stores. So that's it for the Mauls, but not quite it for the Zabraks. There were 3 more, and they were actually all Jedis. Respectively, they came out in the years 2011, 2012, and 2013, and their names are Eth Koth, Ajin Kolar, and that last guy is just a Zabrak Jedi. The first 2 Zabraks have different headpieces with larger horns and hair, and I think that's just because some Zabraks have larger horns than others. I give these guys a little bit more of an in-depth review in the Jedi Collection video, so I'm not going to get into it right now, but I'm sure you might want to know some of the prices in case you have these guys. So this first guy, Eth Koth, is $15 brand new. In the center, Ajin Kolar is going to cost you $30, which makes him the most expensive Zabrak, and this last Zabrak is going to be $22 or $23. Alright, and I think we've just finished off an entire alien race produced in LEGO minifig form. The collection totals 11 figs, 7 of which are Darth Mauls. Here is a shot of the general evolution of the episode 1 Darth Maul. The body went through some okay changes, and I think he really started looking cool once they gave him the Zabrak headpiece. And I can't think of any other iterations of Darth Maul I might want to see made in the future, but Zabraks look pretty cool, and I think new and creative prints for these figs in later sets would always be welcome. He might not be a Zabrak, but close enough. Alright, that's it for this episode. If you have any ideas about another collection you want to see in the future, you can let us know in the comment section below. We will try to get that done. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and if you enjoy our content, feel free to subscribe. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.